and Chris and maybe some of the listeners would be like, there'd be a few more podiums in there. For you, there'd probably be some more wins from what you were kind of thinking a little bit. But qualifying speed's been good. Starts have been good here and there. If you stay out of trouble, it seems like you're a top 5 guy, but you haven't been able to stay out of trouble. I kind of boil it down to that.
Yeah, I would say my starts, to be honest, haven't been that great.
Mm-hmm.
Up until this weekend, I think our average starts in like 17th, 16th, like 16.2 or something after the first 3 or 4 rounds. So definitely again, I'm not saying that that's the reason why we haven't done as well as I have, because I think we've watched Haiden do it. It's doable for sure. But yeah, it's been frustrating a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm honest, it's just, I know everybody works hard, but for me, it was like, I'm going to come into this as prepared as possible and do my homework and work on the areas that I know are weak and fix things and have open ears and open minds and listen to people. And it's just, haven't had much to show for. And that's, I think that's what bums me out the most is like, I honestly, at this point, I'd rather be getting hole shots and just getting my teeth kicked in than kind of being where I'm at.
Okay.
But yeah, speed's been good, and like I said, I'm comfortable on the motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
This weekend, for me, again, it's Southwick. I didn't expect to come out and go 1-1. It's just unrealistic to think that something of that can change, seeing as though my whole career, it's literally been my Achilles heel, So going into it, it wasn't like, hey, I'm going to win. It was like, hey, months and months ago, this is the game plan.
Mm-hmm.
These are my strong rounds. These are the rounds that I can get away with 3rd and 4th. And there's one round, and I have a picture of it still from months ago, like Southwick. Par is 5. So
mm-hmm.
It was, it was what it was. I definitely, back to what you said, expected to do better. I didn't assume I would be doing better, but again, this much work I put into it, and as well as I felt like everything went, I wish I had more to show for. But, one thing that I am proud of is that, the situation I'm in is, it's not due to not being prepared.
Mm-hmm.
I've done everything I felt like right leading into this, and, I busted my ass. And it's just, I think, have we not had a bike issue and we eliminate 3 first-turn crashes, we could be closer to that top 5 in points for sure.
Yep.
But then again, it's easy, woulda, shoulda, coulda, right? We don't know for sure. So I'm not going to sit here and say that we could be closer to those guys, because I don't know for sure. But I'm confident that this weekend was, on paper, maybe to most people didn't look great, but for me, in my mind, it was a roll of the stone for momentum, if that makes sense.
Sure, yeah. How's the bike? Nothing like racing, right? We haven't talked to you since the Nationals started. How's the bike?
Honestly, the bike's great. That's one thing that I, leading into the season, was very unsure of. Just because, again, like you said, there's nothing like racing. But chassis-wise and suspension, I think I haven't been to a round. High Point, I struggled just in general, and I think we've kind of narrowed it down to spending the last 5 months, honestly, riding sand almost every day, with the exception of a handful of times at Triumph. And then, you ride sand for so long, and you go to somewhere like High Point where there's ruts like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally different. In the sand, you're getting used to letting the bike move around and go where it goes. And then when you're in the ruts, you can't do that. So, other than that, though, I felt really good. I haven't come off the track and been like, man, if my bike was better, I could have gone faster. It's just, for me, I need to be better.
Anything? Have you changed anything on the bike since round 1?
Honestly, I'm trying to think. We went to some different races.
You got races?
Oh yeah.
Oh crap.
We went to try to extend the bike a little bit for Southwick, and we did mess with the shock during the week. Actually, Drew, our suspension guy, came down at the Croom National we had, and we messed around with the shock, kind of a direction or an idea, and just honestly, I'm comfortable with where I'm at. My bike feels good. I'm kind of shying away from changing too much until I get to a point where I'm like, man, my bike is just not working. I can't go that fast, and I haven't gotten to that point yet. So, for me, it's like I line up and I know where it's really good, and I know where, okay, maybe it's not the greatest, but I would rather line up with that and know what I have than constantly be throwing something and hoping that it works.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching Moto 2, and Deegan was on your ass.
Yep.
And then I was like, all right, Joey, all right. And then you just kind of like, all right, go ahead. And you kind of, it looked that way to me. That's what it looked like.
He actually answered this on Twitter today.
Oh,
too.
he did?
Yeah, but
okay.
No, it's fine, but yeah.
It was, for sure, like, honestly, it's a little bit of two things. One, I thought he was a little bit closer. That damn Yamaha is so loud. It's like an Air Force jet taking off behind you every time he gets on the gas. So a little bit of it, I was like, man, he's a lot closer than I thought. But also, like, I struggled so bad in the second moto to find any sort of rhythm or flow. And I'm like, I know who it is. I know he's the fastest guy right now. And I was like, I'm going to make it easy for him, and I'm going to try to hop in behind him and see if I can – Jesus. Sorry, fireworks going off, dude.
Right.
I'm going to see if I can learn something, like maybe some blinds. Maybe if I can find something that will make my life a little easier. And
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it. It was too easy for sure. But again, it was – I didn't think he was that far back. And then the other side is I'm just older, dude. Like, what am I going to hold him up for another two corners?
Right.
Like, yeah, for sure I'm going to put up a fight in a situation where I feel confident and I feel racy. But in that situation, like, I just felt like I was kind of like a wounded duck. And I could have fought more for sure, but what am I going to fight for another 2-3 corners? Like, it wasn't at that point in the race where it was a make or break. Like, if I hold him off for half a lap more, like, I'm going to break him type thing, So I think maybe it was too easy, but my intentions were good. I wanted to try to learn something and see if it would make my life easier, but yeah, it didn't work, and yeah, definitely didn't look the greatest. But like I said, when you're struggling, I was looking for something to try to make my life easier, and yeah, that wasn't it.
Well, that makes sense. What about the class itself? Has the class, you're racing in it now, has the class changed? Has it got better? Is it the same as you remember?
Sorry, I'm trying to walk through. My kids are sleeping. It's pretty much the same, dude. They're sending. I mean, like, dude, you watch Deegan week in and week out have these moments where you're like, oh my god. But for him, it's probably normal. It's kind of like when we watch Barsha, right? How many times have you seen Barsha and you're like, wow, that was sketchy, and you probably asked him about it, and he's like, oh, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, like that scrub in the second moto for Deegs. Yeah, you're just like.
Yeah, and he probably didn't even flinch at it. He's probably like, oh yeah, that was so sick. And so like that part for sure hasn't gone away. That is something that we're gonna take into this next couple of days of riding and implement it into the next couple of weeks. Is my just opening laps are atrocious, if I'm being honest. Like,
yeah, you're old.
Yeah, but
you got no.
He's not old. He's not even old yet.
He's got no fast twitch muscles left.
He's
in him.
fine.
Dude.
He's in his prime.
Okay.
I'm AMA 29. Calm down.
AMA 20.
I just. Like, I think, like, yeah, sure, like, I would be curious to see on paper opening, from the whole shot line to end of first lap. Like, I don't know if anyone's passed more guys than I have on the opening lap, just because my starts haven't been that great, and I've been able to make moves early. But, like, then when I get into a situation like this weekend where I'm with the big dogs or these young pups, I guess because they're kids, like, I haven't had enough explosiveness practice of those super short, intense laps to do what I need to do with the opening laps. And, like, not that that's the answer, but I think if I can maintain or keep the gap a lot smaller early, I'll be better in the second half. Okay. And that's just something that, we're going to try this week, try to shorten it up and try to get a little bit of explosiveness because, like you said, I feel it. Like, that fast twitch is, I need to activate.
I spoke to someone who shall go nameless that thinks, Joey, obviously, look, you got your wife, you got 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids. How many kids you?
2 kids. I'm not on the school bus program like Zach.
Okay. Like Tony Alessi? Like Tony?
Yeah.
But I talked to somebody who's like, he needs to go to Georgia and go ride with more guys like that up in Georgia. Because I guess besides Jalik, there's other people there, or I don't really know, but this person thought that you would benefit from riding up there more often.
Dude, I
But
mean,
you have a life in Florida, so it's understandable.
well,
you know.
yeah, it's hard. Like, it'd be one thing if my wife didn't have her own business and could go with me, but, she's got her business and she works 2 other jobs. And, I got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and
Yeah.
they're at that age where they're, like, even when I leave to go on the race weekends, they're like, well, how many sleeps are you going to be gone? So they're at that age where, like, they like being around me and they're learning and they're growing. So it's not easy for me to leave, but I don't disagree at all. Like, and that's what bummed me out when Zach got hurt and he wasn't going to do the outdoors. Not that he was for sure
Yeah,
committed.
he's trying to, right, yeah.
But, it looked likely, and then we had Wyatt Kerr down here doing the Canadian Series, and then Chambers was here before GPs. Like, at the beginning, it was a very good circumstance or situation because there was 3, 4 of us riding.
Yep.
And then, Jack left, and then it was just Wyatt and I, and then Zach. And then Zach got hurt, and then Wyatt left, and then it's just been me. So, yeah, like, me riding by myself is – some guys make it work, like Eli and RC, and I know there was a different era back then, but Stu, Reed, like, they made it work.
Yeah, they always had guys. Chad had Burner, and Stu had Brownie, and
Eli got nothing. Dude.
Eli got nothing.
Yeah, dude, Eli's an alien, right?
Yeah, he had Zacho and J-Mart.
Yeah.
J-Mart seems like the only guy that can last.
J-Mart's like, I'm out after a while. Like, oh, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, but then, like, look at Jett and Hunter. Like, they got each other to push, and
for sure.
And Hymus is there, and he's probably got them to chase. So, yeah. Like,
you and Jaleel could really, like, raise your level, both of you, right? Like.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
I don't disagree, and like I said, if I had the freedom to do that, I would. But that's where, like, we had a great plan, and like I said, it's unfortunate Zach got hurt because I do think, I still think, and this is just me seeing what I saw from him riding. Like, I still think he could have been pretty damn good if he would have not gotten hurt and had a proper training camp leading into it. Like, he still is fast. And yeah, it's unfortunate that happened, but yeah, I would agree. I could benefit from riding with guys, and Levi was gone the first 3 weekends in California, but we rode a little bit last week. I think we're going to try to ride together maybe one day this week, and just got to try to get a crew together and try to detail that 38 machine, man.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good.
Strong.
Nothing you can say besides the kids.
I can't wait for you to get a little faster and get up there, and then he starts insulting your age on the podium, or he's calling you the old man. Or
I don't know who this 17 guy is.
Yeah, who is this 17? Yeah.
It's all right, dude. I got something in the back pocket for that.
Okay. So I think I think there's 17. I think he rode with my dad.
I'll tell you what, dude. I saw it in practice, but like, I'm not in a position in points or anything like to be sticking my nose where it doesn't belong. But if I was that 16 machine or Levi, I'd be doing anything to stop the momentum right now, because I saw Deegan messing with Vialle in practice, revving his bike up at him, scaring him coming into the corners when he was on a slow lap. And like, again, I have text messages from before the Supercross season ended. I was telling my dad, I said, if they let him, being Deegan, win the finale and start building confidence coming in the outdoor, he's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
And like,
he's there.
he's there. Like, he doesn't feel like he can put a foot wrong, and he feels like he has these other two mentally beat. And I would argue that he does. Like, he talks the talk, but he walks it. And I can tell you, there's nothing more frustrating than when someone's not even talking shit, but they're just running their mouth and they're able to back it up.
And you can't do nothing about it. Yeah.
Have to sit and take it. And I mean, I'd be doing if I was Tom Vialle, I'd be doing just about anything, whether it be practice laps, lining up next to him for practice starts. I'd be doing whatever it took to try to do something. And I don't even know that would work, because he's the type of guy that he thrives off.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Renthal bringing you Joey Savatgy on the show. What's the bar band? What are we running these days? You got Fat Bar, right?
Yeah, Fat Bar. I don't know.
Okay.
Isn't it funny how these guys don't fucking know what they got?
I don't. How do they not know?
Dude, they don't even know.
No, listen, no, calm down. Listen, have you seen the last couple of years of my career?
Yeah.
I've gone from Renthal, ODI, Protate, like.
Yeah, but you know what you like. You know a band that you like.
It's the whatever the Carmichael bend is in the Fat Bar. Is it a
821?
821. There you go.
Chris, have you ridden Joey's race bike?
No.
Nothing. You've
No,
never.
I don't see Joey. I never see him.
No, but I mean just the motor, like not
No, I
Joey's
have not.
bike exactly, but
No,
race parts.
No.
Okay. All right.
No, that's Ivan's territory.
Okay, because man, you look at Joey and Jalik, right?
Yep.
More Jalik starts than Joey's, but you look at Harumph.
Harup. Okay, there you go.
I called it Harumph.
We'll get there.
Lewis was here. Harup and GPs.
Harup.
Like,
Yep.
looks good.
Does.
Bike's good.
The bike is good. Look,
the bike is good. I got to give full props to Triumph. Like when you look at Cannondale and Huskies when they came in, and even KTM's and over the years, and like it is hard to build a brand new bike from scratch.
Dude, I'm non-biased, but obviously I can say whatever I want. But like, dude, the chassis is extremely good in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like they've done a great job. It is stiff but not rigid, and it's not soft enough to where you're getting flex. Like, dude, they did a
Done
great
good
job.
Yeah, no, listen, full props to them, man. It's what they're doing is hard. They've won heat races and podiums and whole shots.
They got good guys over there, Steve.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think one thing too that like I didn't take into consideration, and me being a rider and hard-headed and everything else you want to call me, but like, dude, little things like having data from previous years, you just don't realize how much that helps. And, you know, so for us, we're going to these rounds, and it's not that we're struggling, but, like, if we are, we have nothing to fall back on. And, you know, like, it's little things like that I guess I just didn't think about coming into it that have caught me by surprise a little bit.
Yep.
That it's just like, oh, man, I get it. Like, we don't know necessarily what the right direction is because we haven't been here before. But, yeah, like, little things like that. But, you know, aside from that, they've done a great job considering how much time they've had.
I mean, Chris, we rode the bikes 3 months ago. Hopefully, sometime soon, the media gets their bikes.
It'd be nice to ride one again.
It'd be nice to get on one again and ride it. But
be great.
Come hang out, Chris. I'll let you ride mine.
Yeah.
No one even
love
remembers.
it. I know. It was on. We were on a high for a bit.
What'd you ride in Spain then when you went? What?
I was Stark. I was on a Stark.
No, you weren't.
I was Stark in it.
He just got back from Spain.
I was Stark.
He was riding Triumphs.
Wait, weren't you in England like the week before I went last year?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What about
Why is
what do we
everybody so weird about this?
look
Wait,
until someone says stop being weird, I'll stop.
You know
doing
there's a 450 coming. You're probably doing 450 stuff.
I don't know anything about anything.
All right.
Hey, stop being weird. On a side note, is that Stark crazy or what?
Stark's actually good.
Dude,
it's fun.
It's nuts.
Do you think it could? Could you qualify in an outdoor national right now on it?
If it was just purely based on bike without the battery life, yes. Like
you
I
couldn't
feel
get 230s in though.
no
way.
There's no way.
I didn't think you'd do that.
But you
like,
could
just,
set a heater lap, no problem.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, the
Like
bike
chassis.
that's got
chassis,
KYB
like-
stuff. It's got Magura brakes. It's
Chassis is a little firm, Joey, but like you can make it good, honestly. And
Well, I just
for you
think-
guys, you might like it because it's firm.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it was like would it break in half if you cased the leaf?
No, dude, look
No,
at these
dude.
guys are launching at X Games. You're fine. Like
yeah, the bikes.
yeah.
No problem.
Oh well, sorry, man. I didn't have to yell.
What about hey, did you do that steering thing that we talked about when we saw each other? Did you ever try that?
Yeah, I did, and I almost destroyed myself in the process.
I told you.
But I will say I think it's something that you got to ease into. Like I went from 0 to 100, and
What are you talking
remember
about?
Steve, you could ask Zach. I don't remember if him or Dana saw, but dude, I came into this like high speed flattish corner, and I started to lose the front, and I couldn't stop it because I just couldn't turn my bars, dude, and I just went into this 2-wheel like trashing drift, and I saved it. And I remember we had the Cardos on it, and I pulled off right then. And I said, Dana, we need to go back and change this. This is not good.
So Joey and I we saw each other, and we started talking about Jett's bike,
Uh-huh.
and he asked me about the steering.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
how
go,
stiff it was.
Yeah, and I go, dude, it is like a dampener times 10. Like
Yeah.
it is really hard.
It
He's like,
was bizarre.
and we were trying.
But it didn't feel like that on track.
No, it did. Like every time I moved the bar, the bike would totally move. And you normally how you throw the bar into a jump. If you did that on
I
Jett's
don't
bike,
do that, but
the whole bike moves. So we were talking about it, and Joey's like, maybe that's obviously he's good, right?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
know that, but
yeah.
some of it maybe that's how he lines up in these ruts. He jumps into things, and he's lining up perfect because he can move his bar a little bit, and that whole
the
bike
thing
pivots around,
settles
right?
in, sure.
Yes, this is a debate that we like. Me, Zach, like I've had it with Kiefer. Like, dude, I mean, the kid's an alien. Like, there's no doubt about that, right? Like,
Yeah.
like both of them are extremely good.
Yeah.
Like, you can't take anything away from them. But like when I watch Jett at Supercrosses, especially when there's a lot of ruts, he's always, if you notice in the air, he's always tweaking his bars just a little bit. And that's what, so I started the conversation with Kiefer, and I'm like, hey, dude, like, you rode the bike. I was like, if you turn your bars in the air, does the bike move? And he's like, oh, yeah, absolutely. So then I'm like, oh, my God, dude, if this guy's
That's
thinking
the secret.
dude, I'm like, but there's, like, that even makes him more of an alien.
Yeah.
Because if he's riding and he's turning the bars to, like.
To line up for a rut? Right.
To adjust just the smallest amounts, I'm like, dude, he's on another planet. Because it's like, it's enough to try to jump a rhythm and land in the rut. But if dude's in the air, like, I'm a little bit off balance, I'll just tweak my bars and move it over. I mean, I'm probably reading too far into this, but I mean, then again, like, he's that good that it's possible.
So how long did you give it before you bailed
how
on
long
it?
did you try this for?
20 minutes.
And you were on outdoors though, right?
Yeah, but again, I think it's something that, like, I need to take it to 25%, ride like that for a week, and then crank it to 50, and like just slowly over time.
Did you put a dampener on, or no? Just tighten the steering the fuck out of the steering.
Just tighten the steering
Okay.
to shit. But I will say, like, I think where it could be good is, like, this weekend in Southwick. Like, you don't have to worry about that front end twitchiness. You know what I'm saying? Like, if your front end gets a little heavy in the berm, you know, like, I just think, I don't know. I still am not convinced that something's not there. I mean, they're doing it for a reason.
Joey's digging. He's digging.
Look he's a good rider, but there's something to that. You just don't do that just for the sake of doing it.
The Mandarin said that the starts were remote controlled.
No, dude, I don't care what anyone says. They have something, whether from the electronic side, they have something figured out.
So what you know what we're doing, Joey? And Lars said we could do this. I'm going to get on one of their bikes. Kiefer's going to be on a stock Honda. I'm going to get on one of their bikes. And there's no way, right, that I should be able to whole shot Kiefer. There's just no possible way, no matter what I do.
I bet you could.
Thank you.
No.
I'm going to get on one way. He's going to be on a stock bike. I'm going to have the factory bike, and I will yard Kiefer up to start.
Stop.
Dude, if Steve stays over the front, yeah, it's over.
It's over.
I doubt it.
But seriously, back to the other conversation, like, you know, they do the steering for a reason.
Yes.
And, you know, like, to my understanding, they're not very vocal about it, which I get it. But, I mean, dude, I spent how many months watching Supercross races waiting to go race, and I'm like, dude, so I'm maybe looking too far into things, but there's a reason. There's no way they run the steering that tight to save the bearing.
Joey's
like, come on.
Joey is the Mandarin. He's at home bored off his ass because he's not racing.
I picture Joey like the guy from Hangover, the GIF with all the numbers flowing at him. Yeah. That's how I picture Joey.
Yeah.
You should ask Zach how many videos I've sent him. Like, dude, look at this. What do you think this? I bet you there's dozens of videos of me sending to Zach of him doing it, practice, race, heat race. I'm like, dude, it's not coincidence.
Well, let's get the gentleman on the phone right now. He's sponsored by Jets and Donuts. Hello, Phil.
Oh my God,
Steven.
Okay, Phil.
Who's that?
It's Joey.
Oh, what's up, Joey?
What's up, you SOB?
Just sipping on some red wine.
Throw the theory out for Phil, Joey. Throw it out.
Phil, hear me out. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Have you ever noticed how tight Lawrence's run their head stay?
No, I've never sat on their bikes.
Or have you ever? Well, I did. I went by on press day at Paula and I turned their bars in. But this is months ago.
Joey casually walks by through the pits and just smacks his bars. All right, later.
What's up, Lars? Turns the bike, runs away.
Just keeps going. I got him now. I got you now.
But we rode them, Phil, at Washougal, and trust us, the steering is unbelievably tight. Like,
Phil, it's insane. It's like you took an impact to the top of that thing and just had that thing until it stopped moving. Right?
Yeah.
So my theory, I was bored during Supercross, couldn't race, and was watching. And ever since I heard last year that they run their steering head tight, I'm just like, doesn't make any sense. Like, what for what? So, you know, when I started watching Supercross, and this is something that, again, maybe I'm crazy, but when I watch Jett, especially when the tracks are really ruddy, he's always turning his bars just a little bit in the air. So I asked Kiefer, I said, hey, with the steering that tight, if you turn the bars in the air, does the bike move? And he said, yes, absolutely. So I'm like,
Phil, that's the first thing I noticed. When I roll down the track and I go up to Washougal, that little scrub jump, I went to kind of like lean, and the whole fucking bike moved in the air, and I'm like, wow, that's insane.
Yeah. So I'm like watching these videos of Jett doing like these tiny little bar tweaks. So like I feel like he's lining himself up with the rut. And I mean, maybe I'm crazy, and like Jett's an alien, and we just talked about this. They're both really good. But I'm like, if he's doing this while he's racing, then he's on another planet, because it's hard enough to, like, go through a rhythm lane and line up to a rut. But, like, I'm telling you, dude, go back and watch videos, and you'll see his bars.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, Joey. After 18 years, you're just telling me this now. All I got to do is crank down my fucking steering stem, and I'll be able to survive a fucking rhythm lane with fucking 30 ruts in it. I'm going to be fucking pissed.
Now you know. You finally found out,
Yeah.
Phil.
Motherfuck.
Dude, listen to me, Phil. I tried it one day, and on an outdoor track, and, dude, I almost didn't even make the season.
Dude, I can't run with it tight.
Dude, I went down the straightaway into, like, this sweeping right, and the track was a little wet, but I started to lose the front. Dude, I couldn't stop it.
No,
I couldn't turn my bars.
Dude, yeah, I can't even jump with my steering stem. I ride it. Amar and Jamar both ride with their steering. I mean, you can't go any fucking, like, they're crushing the fucking bearings. Like, you can't even turn it on the stand. I can't even ride down a water lane with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wanted to try it.
Yeah. I do run a steering stabilizer though.
Do you?
Because it does help a little bit, just with a little bit of wander and a little bit of head shake. The steering stabilizer does help a lot.
And Phil, your bikes, you got the rear wheel all the way back. You got a longer swing arm. You got your clamps out. Like you.
Let's just give away my whole fucking secret on fucking live radio, Steve.
He's very sensitive to this.
That's
Too.
true, you're right.
Hey, and the fucking throttle body. Might as well put that out there too.
What, you got a smaller throttle body on there, or what?
Don't worry about it.
Kiefer did some
You're
testing.
in the 250 class. I don't care.
What kind of clamps are you on? 24s or what?
23.5s. Yep.
Just throwing out numbers. Just crank down on that steering. You're gonna get fucking fifth next week.
yeah, Joey.
I'm telling you, I will say though, like back to like what you said, Phil, the steering dampener probably helps somewhere like where it's sandy, like Southwick, where you get that little bit of front end twitchiness.
Fuck, I don't know. I'm still getting fucking twitchy coming so straight-away, dude.
Yeah, but
I guess that's what you guys feel. If you crank down your steering, it gets tight. Do you feel like the overall bike gets heavier feeling?
Yeah, super heavy. I can't even jump it.
Yeah. So like then you kind of get arm pump. You can't lean in the corner right. It fucks you all up.
No, I'm not fucking with you. I can't even ride it down a water lane with it cranked down. Yeah. I'll come back and I'll tell my mechanic, loosen it up, dude.
So when are you the type of guy, your bike's on the stand, you tap the bar and it just kind of falls down
and
on
it bounces?
own?
And does it bounce when
it does? It doesn't bounce, but it falls and just
Right.
just stays there. But it don't bounce. But yeah, I'm finicky as shit with that. But Yamaha does make an electric one, or they're working on it, an electric steering.
Yeah, remember Cooper had it, right?
For real?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I really want to try that sucker.
Huh.
If anyone knows anyone at Yamaha that wants to let me try it, would be great.
That Cooper ran at one practice or one qualifier? What did he?
Jay Wilson's helping develop that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If anyone deserves it.
Hey, Joey, Phil, I was going to ask Phil this question, but let's start with you two guys. Because, you're old AF, Joey. You're, practically
AMA 29.
Where did all the sand go in Southwick?
Brother, when has there been sand?
Oh, back in my mechanic days, there was sand.
Well, yeah, but I wasn't even born yet.
Okay.
According to JT, he's watching 2002, and it was sandy and shit.
I will say
I swear the front half of Paula was sandier than Southwick, it felt like.
Amen. Amen.
I don't know what happened.
Southwick is sandy, but it's bermy sandy, and the base is so hard underneath. That's why every line gets blown off the track, because you can't cut down out of anything.
Yeah, 100%. And this is the first year they brought in sawdust.
Wow.
Yeah, why would you? That confused me. I had heard they were.
I don't know. Yeah, and where'd the sawdust idea come from?
They got a lot of rain. Remember? Do you see those videos of how much rain they got? Did it wash all the sand away?
So take all the sand out from the lakes that they have there that formed when they had all the rain and put it back on the track.
Okay.
Yeah, it was weird. They literally had like 6 sections where they had like sawdust. And I'm like, I've been coming here for 18 years. I've never seen sawdust on this track before.
Hey, Phil, through our first 5 rounds, what track prep has been the best?
High Point. Phil destroyed High Point on this show a few weeks ago.
I buried that in my gut. I'm not bringing up High Point. I don't know.
Wait,
Well,
why
I'm gonna
did you
have,
bring that point? Is it because they didn't even try to make the track better the whole day?
Oh, wow. Joey has some reason as well, just like every other 80 riders that were on the fucking starting line. You know? I'm going to have to go. Well, I didn't race Colorado, but at the moment, Hangtown.
Hangtown, hands down, dude. They crushed it.
Yep.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
so random
Hangtown
because
was good.
Hangtown's never the
No,
top
it's
pick,
not.
right?
It was good though, yeah.
But like, dude, like even though like Zach calls them windrows, but like the little berms that they built on each side of or in the corners to have like 2 or 3 lines, like stuff like that at the beginning part of the race is so good because it gives you the freedom to move, and then the lines eventually move together, and you have like 2 definitive lines.
Yeah. You can kind of crisscross and whatnot.
So you guys like the little pre-made berms in the corners, like pre-made lines?
Only to start, because then like this weekend, Phil. I don't know I honestly didn't watch. So did you pull 2-hole shots like always or no?
No, we're like 5th.
He
but we're
rode
close.
well. He put himself in good spots though, yeah.
But the opening laps, like there's corners on the track this past weekend at Southwick that if you took the outside, you couldn't stay on the track without crossing a 4-foot berm that was from the inside.
Yeah, and then if you did go outside, they were fucking 50 yards longer to go around the track. You couldn't even utilize it. But I don't know, it's just weird. I mean, don't get me wrong, the track was rough as shit. You know what I mean? But it was just. Yeah, but it was just, I don't know, it's just a weird Southwick. I don't get it. The sandiest part on the track was fucking the start straight.
It really was. Yeah.
So, I don't know. But I'm glad you were there to see it, Steve,
Yeah, well, sorry, Phil, sometimes.
Living his best life, man.
I was in Italy at MXGP. I mean, I've been everywhere. I had to take a weekend off.
Are we asking Joey about next year? Are we leaving that on the table? What are we doing?
That was on my questions.
Okay.
But then Phil got on, so.
Okay.
Joey,
I'm glad you brought Phil on.
Are we trying to change the Supercross rules still, Joey? Are we still complaining about that and trying to change that? Like, what are we doing next year?
Phil didn't really like me until we hung out in Australia.
I'm not going to lie. I did not like Joey for years and years and years. I actually really hated Joey. But
I feel like this starts the same with Phil. I didn't like this guy.
Colt
but,
Nichols,
yeah.
Joey Savatgy, you name it. Cade, you name it. Yeah.
Yeah, Joey and I are cool.
It just took one night out with the boys, dude, to get it all patched up,
Yeah, nothing a few CLs or a couple liquor shots can't handle, It's good.
Good times.
What are you doing next year?
Me?
Yeah, Joey.
Who, me?
I mean, I hope I'm racing.
Let's say you can't ride a 450. What are we doing? What's going on?
I don't know, dude. I don't really.
So
what do I want? I mean, this is where I'm at, and Mui or Pelletier, hope you guys are listening. But like, I've spent the last however many months, adapting back to the 250 and learning to ride it. That I would like, even if it's an exemption for 1 year to race the bike, just so I can have more than 11 rounds of outdoor, and then have to switch back to the 450. So like. And I don't even want to stay in that class long. Like, if you give me 1 year to ride it regardless of the result, then at least I feel like all this work I've done is for something. But, I mean, if I can't, I don't know. I don't know what's going on, dude.
The rule, but how does did the rule get changed for Vialle to be able to stay another year or no?
Yeah.
I don't know. I read that, too. How does he stay till 27? How does that work?
27?
Yeah, that's what I heard,
too. He can stay through 26, yeah. He can race in 25, and he can race again in 250 and 26, from what I heard. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought he could just race next year. He's got next year to defend it, and then he's got to go because it's been 3 years.
I think
but if he
something
doesn't win,
changed
he's
somewhere.
got 1 more year, I thought.
No, he's out. He was supposed to be out regardless, but yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I would say, if they didn't let Joey race, I'd think, oh yeah, sick, go race the GPs in the beginning. But again, you can't ride MX2 there, so it's fucking. Yeah. That's a waste.
Well, there'll be a spot at Club MX next year on the 450 side, Joey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Phil's leaving.
Yeah, but Phil says, after he tightens his head stay and he goes 5-5 this weekend, he's back, maybe 1 more year.
Yeah.
Well, now that I know I just got to tighten it down to fucking do better in Supercross, maybe I will come back next year.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, I'm taking it to Twitter right now.
All right, Joey. Thank you for the time tonight on the show. Appreciate it.
Good job, Joe Dog.
Good job at Southwick. Yeah, good job. And keep it up. All right.
Crushed it.
Yeah.
I said you were going to make the podium this year, so please
Got
do.
that front hump
Please-
on his seat too, and all
please
that. Yeah.
We're trying, Steve. We're trying. I promise.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, buddy.
Good job, 17.
Yep.
See you,
See you,
Joey.
boys.
See
Bye,
ya.
Phil.
Thank you. That's Joey Savatgy, everybody. Phil Nicoletti brought to you by Luxon. Luxon makes the best parts you can buy, advanced engineering techniques to develop products that are unlike the rest, tighter and stronger with optimized stiffness. Pulp 2024 is a code to save. Phil Nicoletti using the Luxon clamps as well. Fast Freddy as well. They're designed, engineered, and made in the USA. LuxonMX.com, code Pulp 2024 to save. LuxonMX.com. Get the same clamps that Phil Nicoletti runs.